So, our opponent plays Mutanus. We lose our Malygos. Now normally I wouldn't be too bothered about losing the Malygos battle cry, but the problem here is there is an 816 on the board. That's quite problematic and quite scary. However, we would find the solution. The revolve from the One Maker solves our problem for us, thankfully. Talon here, probably not ideal. We want to clear the board, and Dunk Tank lets us clear the board. Dunk Tank will also come back to hand. That could be useful for later on. Now the Lurker below here getting us some value on 2 hefty minions. And I love playing the Lurker below. I'm used to playing it in wild mode with Shadowwalk Shaman. So to play it here in standard mode is wonderful. It really, really is. It's such a great card in my opinion. And a great animation, great sound effect, great everything. So, as this game progresses here, I can't help but feel I'm in the driving seat now with these resources that I'm deploying from hand. And I'm going to trade. Was that the right call? It's ingrained in my brain to trade, right? I play defensively, and my thinking there is I want to protect the rest of my board, let the rest of my board stand a better chance of sticking, so as the turns go on, I can then eventually start doing face damage with my minions, right? So focus on maintaining a board from minion pressure. However, our board is about to disappear. So I should have gone face on that earlier turn. I should not have traded. Lesson learned, and that's an Alakir that is just about to kill us if we're not careful. So, Panic Stations. Eye of C'Thun could soften up the Alakir here and soften up our opponent's face a little bit.
I see your weakness.
So, I didn't think that through very well. Maybe there were other plays or better plays. I had Perpetual Flame in hand. I had Dunk Tank. Maybe I could have done this in a slightly different way. But I was so panicked, I did not think. But there's Alakir, and so it's time.
Time may pass, but the dream is eternal.
What a beautiful entrance. What a beautiful card. Ysera. I just love everything and anything to do with Ysera. And here's the key thing. We have Alakir in hand, and we have Nightmare. So what is that? That is 14 damage to our opponent's face. So 14 plus 4 plus 3. Can we count? Can we do math for once? I think we can. And there it is. There's lethal. Absolutely beautiful and very satisfying. Okay, so what are we playing today? Let's take a deeper look at this deck. So this is Boltzmann's Control Shaman. Now, on Saturday morning, Boltzmann messaged me and said there's this deck that he's playing that I may enjoy. And lo and behold, yes, I've absolutely enjoyed playing this deck, and I'm really glad that Boltzmann brought this to my attention. So this is Control Shaman, and it plays new cards from the Wailing Caverns mini-set. The most notable card, perhaps, is Mutanus the Devourer, which I know a lot of people, at least in wild mode, have panned and said, is it going to be great? But I think I like it in this deck in standard. I think in a slow control deck like this, I think it can fulfill a reasonable function, but it's early days yet, and maybe it's not needed in the deck, but time will tell. So, what is special, though, about this deck, beyond Mutanus? Well, there are 4 key combos or interactions that really make this deck good. So, you've got C'Thun, firstly. Well, C'Thun can just end games. right? Or soften up your opponent's boards, destroyed boards. Secondly, you've got Alakir with 22 burst damage. Now, you saw Alakir earlier with 14 burst damage. However, if you add a Diligent Note Taker to the equation, so Nightmare onto Alakir with the Note Taker on board gives you a second Nightmare. With the second Nightmare added onto Alakir's attack, you have a 22 burst damage. Okay, which is really significant, could just be enough to win a game for you to find lethal. Thirdly, you have Headmaster Kel'Thuzad in this deck with Perpetual Flame. So that could just be a way to clear an opponent's board and steal their minions, but it's not just Perpetual Flame that you can use with KT, there are other spells too, right? Anything that can mass AoE a board is a potential candidate to be comboed with KT, so Ysera Awakens is something that you are going to be offered in this game when you play Ysera the Dreamer. So you could combo that with KT. And finally, Miracle Finishers. You are likely to get burst spells from your wand makers. You have the Dream cards, you have Instructor Fireheart and the Scorpids. All of these can generate burst that could just kill or finish off your opponent. So that is something to keep in mind. All in all, really, really fun deck, making Shaman interesting on standard mode. These combos are not the only possible ones. There are more options that you can utilise, I think, to finish off your opponents or clear their boards, but these are the important ones to take note of, according to Boltzmann. Okay, let's have a look at the deck in action. And it's going to be against a priest. So, you may want to buckle up for this one. This could take a while. So can I assume that my opponent is gearing up for the long game as well? Most probably. Okay. No C'Thun for them though. Just C'Thun for me. Maybe something that I need to be aware of is the priest finding ways to disrupt my C'Thun combo somehow. Maybe need to keep that in mind. Okay, Venomous Scorpid. Now, I could deal with that with Tidal Surge. However, I could wait a while, because I have Heart of C'Thun. Alternatively, Devolving Missiles deals with this here and now, which is good.
You don't pick the winners.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe I should have one Makered first to see what I get. Maybe. Anyway. We have a clear board, we're happy, we've saved the Tidal Surge. Another part of me wants to wait a bit longer, not feeling threatened by a one attack Scorpid. Thinking that I could wait till turn 5. You know, play Heart of C'Thun to kill it and maybe take out a couple of other low health minions as well. So that's another line of thinking.
What knowledge?
Okay, that's the board clear. I'll take that. That's fine. On that board.
I will break your
We'll put a wall in the way. We could have killed that, actually. If we'd wanted. So we've got Artificer, and we have Tidal Surge, but no. I want to see what they do here. Oh, that's a bit scary. So, different options here. I'm going to Eye of C'Thun. I'll save the Tidal Surge. Why am I saving the Tidal Surge? Because there's healing attributed to it. And so maybe there's a stage later in the game where I need healing and maybe it'll come in handy there. Maybe. If our opponent would just commit a little bit more to the board. Then Heart of C'Thun would look more appealing. Ooh, Tiny Finn. Aww. We don't want to kill Tiny Finn. I'm just going to chill. That's 2 attack on board. I'm not scared of that. I want more committal. Before I cast the AoE, I want more committal. Oh, there's Mutanus. Okay, that's fine. We still have an Artificer in hand. It's okay, I guess. That's just a clean kill on it. Meanwhile, I'm still allowing the opponent to maintain that board. Again, I want more value for Heart of C'Thun.
You don't pick the ones.
Alternatively, Tidal Wave has shown up in my hand. This board is looking juicy now for AoE. Although that's a 4 health Tiny Finn. Puts it out of range. Okay. Alright, this is worthy of AoE. So Heart of C'Thun it is. And do we let the Tiny Finn live is the question. It's got 3 attack. We'll get rid of it. Goodbye, Tiny Finn. This is also making space in our hand by using these spells because we've just seen Malygos. Now, as I play this game, I am keeping Boltzmann's guidance in mind, those 4 combos or interactions that we talked about at the start of the video. Alright, Malygos value. Maybe I should have played a Lightning Bloom first to empty my hand a little bit more. So I'd have drawn 1 more spell, right? Does that matter in the grand scheme of things? Am I that desperate to draw spells? Not really. Oh. There you, Sarah. Oh, and now I am going to overdraw. This is bad. Question is, what are we going to mill? Talon, that's fine. I think I want to get rid of the 412 body. It is concerning. Okay, C'Thun goes into our deck. But what do we do here? Is there anything to do apart from hero power? I guess not. Our hand is just filled with removal.
In my folly,
Interesting.
I have sown chaos.
Naralex going dormant. I assume it's still going to come back with the increased stats after it awakens. Do we just play Mutanus here? And see what we get? Okay, I'll take it. It's not the biggest stats in the world, but it's disruption. The Veil Weaver has the potential to generate insane value for the priest. So we've just disrupted that. We're very happy. I didn't feel it was necessary to commit any kind of a mass AoE on that last turn. I'm being conservative here. Okay, there's a note taker. Malygos is a body. It's a 4/12. We get a spell. Okay. And I guess I just need to free up some stuff in my hand. Don't know if that play was entirely correct, but it's discounted our Torrent. And we can combo Torrent and Artificer next turn to kill the 10/10. Oh, that's a good use of Hysteria.
You don't pick the ones.
Sure, heal it up. That's fine. Okay. Fireheart, no. Note taker, no. I guess it is just the Artificer to begin with, right? And the Torrent. We need to get rid of that. And now what? Perpetual Flame just to clear the board? I suppose. Oh, it does 6 with the Artificer. I'd forgotten. Would that have changed anything then? With killing their Narrowlex? Would that have changed anything? Oh. And it's 6 to our minions as well, of course. I really should read the card text now, shouldn't I? We're at 24 though, and we're not feeling especially threatened.
You don't pick the ones.
Oh, Tiny Finn! Again! Okay.
Never be afraid of your inner
What can we get? Devolving Missiles seems decent. Let's see if we can hit the 2/5 or the 3/5. No. Yes. No. Terrible. Dunk Tank or Tidal Surge or Deathmatch Pavilion. We've got 4 mana to play with, by the way. That's important to note. Dunk Tank would not be corrupted. So I'm going to take the Tidal Surge. I guess we just remove a 1/1. Chain Lightning? Tidal Surge again. I don't think I've ever played Chain Lightning before. I'm going to take it.
There is little time.
Deal 4 damage. Okay, so we can still play it. And weaken the 1-maker here. Remove the 1/1. And I guess we take Devolving Missiles. But we won't play it. It's fine. A bit of a messy turn there. Got a bit confused, but we're still in a really good position, I think. That's annoying. That's also annoying, but we have the missiles, so we can neutralise that quite easily. Sure. So potential lurker value in hand, depending on what else gets played this turn. Are they going for a big dragon? It has to be a big dragon. And it is a big dragon. That's a scary, scary dragon. At least the battle cry, or at least this, sorry, not the battle cry, the end of turn effect only killed a totem. I think it's C'Thun time.
My awakening brings a new age. Pray to your gods that your pleas may go unanswered.
Lovely animation. Now, decks that play C'Thun, I think usually seek to utilise C'Thun as a finisher. So our opponent may be somewhat surprised here to see us use C'Thun in this manner. C'Thun for us here is a board clear, and a way of softening up our opponent, gets them down to, well, what will be 17 now with healing. And look at the investment that had to go into just killing the 6/6 body. They may have been afraid that I was going to bring it back to hand somehow. So all we have to do now is draw Ysera and Alakir. And we're going to win the game. It's as simple as that. That 22 damage is what we're looking for. So we have to make sure that our opponent's health total stays at that level. That will allow for lethal. Now, Archdruid Naralex here is going to hopefully give us Nightmare, maybe, next turn. If not, we'll wait for Ysera. And by the way, I absolutely love Naralex. It's a card that I was completely unaware of, that had been released with the mini set. Had no clue about it. And so the first time I'm seeing it is in this deck here, after Boltzmann sent me the deck list. And because it's a Ysera card, I absolutely love Naralex. The fact that it's, you know, untargetable for these 2 turns, dormant, means you're guaranteed to get these 2 dream cards. And if you play Naralex in the early game, those dream cards in the early game can just be game winning, right? Particularly if you get Ysera Awakens. Just a clear and aggressive board. Because normally you have to wait to play Ysera the Dreamer, right? And that's usually in the super late game. But with Naralex, you're getting these dream cards really early on, potentially. And that's such a big deal. We get anything good here? Revolve. Okay. We'll take Revolve. Well, their minions have more attack, but they have less health. I'm okay with this. This is fine. I'm just stalling. I'm just stalling. I have Nightmare. I have Nightmare in hand. It's so important. I am just waiting for Alakir. Although our opponent is healing, this is still fine. We have damage on board. There's Alakir. And ladies and gentlemen, this is game over.
Could you repeat that?
Hopefully our opponent does not concede, does not see this coming. Beautiful. Beautiful. And that's all we needed. We just had to wait for it. We had to be patient. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely phenomenal deck. This has really put a spotlight onto Shaman in standard mode. And at this point, I'm just waiting for the wild mode meta to settle or to calm down. Warlock is disgusting in wild mode at the moment. The less said about it, the better, I think. It's not unbeatable. It can be countered. But it's going to need some time, I think, for the meta to settle, i.e. for people to stop playing the deck, or for Blizzard to step in and either look at a nerf or a redesign. So whilst the wild mode meta is settling, I guess I'm going to be playing a little bit more standard mode and just enjoying myself and having fun with decks like this. The MVP card in this deck for me has to be Archdruid Naralex. For 3 cost, getting those 2 Sarah Dream cards guaranteed, I think can be such a big deal in the early game. The other MVP card for me, of course, is Alakir, with that beautiful combo with Nightmare and the Note Taker. So you play 2 Nightmares onto Alakir and you're doing 22 damage. Now, before we end the video, just something to note. Talking to Boltzmann about the deck, Boltzmann is saying that C'Thun and Malygos may be too much in the deck. And he is considering cutting both cards going forward. And I think that would be a fine idea, in that in most matchups, I think all you need is your Alakir Nightmare combo with the Note Taker, and that is sufficient to win the game, assuming you can soften up your opponent a little bit beforehand. I think the problem though is Priest, and Priest will heal consistently throughout the game, and you may be faced with a late game scenario where the Priest is back to full health because they've just utilised their hero power consistently and generated lots of healing spells throughout the game. And on that basis then, you could be in a situation where they're at 30 and you have Alakir, you have Nightmare, you have the Note Taker, but it's not enough to kill them. C'Thun can soften them up, and then the turn after, you play your Alakir combo and win the game. And that's essentially what you saw happen in this video. So I think Priest may need a little bit of special consideration, but how many Priests are on the standard mode ladder at the moment? Given how little I play standard mode, I have very little knowledge of it. So if the ladder is infested with Priests, maybe you put in C'Thun. If it's not, maybe you take C'Thun out. So reacting to the pocket meta that you are in is probably the smartest thing that you can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed playing this deck. Thank you to Boltzmann for making me aware of the deck and for coaching me on how to play it, and for the guide that you saw at the start of the video. And I will see you all again very soon, either for more wild mode or standard mode fun. Do take care now, stay safe, and as always, please be good to one another.